Hi guys, it's Tamika Cage, aka Tamiki, and I am back with another video. Today we're going to talk about the 15 things that I do before I travel on any international trip. Now, I don't consider myself a travel blogger, but I've traveled extensively over the past 3.5 years. I've been to 18 countries and a lot of people have questions. So I've created content on the internet so people close to me can find this information, but feel free to share with others if you know someone who's going on an international trip soon and needs some guidance. So here we go. Number 1, passport and a passport card. So passport, of course, you cannot travel out of the country via plane without the passport book. You can travel via car and boat with the passport card. So I grew up in Michigan, and going to Canada is something that we always do. And when the government changed the rules that you would need a passport to get in and out of the country by car, this is when the card came about. So this is why I have the card. And what I found when I travel internationally is that when I get to my hotel room, this is locked up. Like, you don't want to get this stolen on an international trip. A lot of people carry photocopies of this, but for me, it's just I'll carry around the passport card. It's durable and it's a government document. So I keep this with me on hand. And I did the same for my daughter. So we both travel with both of these. So we're always covered no matter what. Number 2, so go to travel.state.gov, either right before you book your flight or after. Look up the country that you are going to. Find out if there are visa requirements. The visa will get you in and out of the country. I'm not talking about a credit card. Also, you can check the prices. You can also see what the passport validity requirements are. So for instance, I'm going to Europe this summer. My passport expires January of next year. I need to have at least 6 months of validity from the time I'm leaving in order to enter that country. Another site, step.state.gov. So this stands for Smart Traveler Enrollment Program. It's a free service from the government. It allows you to put in all your information, so your name, address, where you're going, where you're going to be staying there, how can they reach you, and the country, of course. This is so in the event of an emergency, they can contact you. So an emergency could be a natural disaster, civil unrest, or maybe someone back home is trying to reach you. I don't want anyone to think that if something happens to you, it's so the government can come and get you. No. They don't do that. So for me, it's like if something happens, the United States is going to be like, well, we know that we had such and such over there, but I know they're not coming to get me because I look like this and not like this. Word to Funky Naiva. Number 3, travel insurance. So this was something that I didn't do when I first started traveling. And that's because I had credit cards that would allow me to get reimbursed if like my luggage is lost or something like that. It's typical on credit cards, the little benefits that you get. However, nobody thinks about if you get hurt somewhere, because these hospitals overseas, they don't take Blue Cross Blue Shield. They don't take Aetna. They don't know nothing about no United Healthcare. When you show up to that hospital, they want cash or credit. So this travel insurance allows you to, once you pay for it, because you got to pay for it or you just ain't no Obamacare over there, you can get reimbursed by your travel insurance. So the one that I had last year was Nationwide Insurance, and it was, I can't remember the cost, but it was under $100, and I think I was able to add my daughter as well, or everyone in the household, and it covered medical expenses up to a certain amount, and it also covered extradition of remains, which basically says if I die, they gonna ship me back, because that ain't cheap. It's not cheap, and my family will be like, well girl, y'all can keep up for that price. So it is important and imperative that I have that insurance. This year I have April travel, and I switched, and it's a little bit more. It's between $100 and $200, was because this one covers me before I leave. Nationwide covered me the insurance that I had when I left, as soon as I left, but this one covered me before. So if my daughter gets sick, and that's the only person I'm canceling my trip for, if my daughter gets sick or something major happens, I can cancel my trip and get reimbursed for it. So those are the type of insurances you can have. Also, April travel does cover that whole thing with sending your remains back and medical expenses. Number 4, priceoftravel.com. A lot of people go places and have no idea what things cost. Places can be really expensive, places can be the same like the US, or places can be really cheap. So Price of Travel allows you to look that up. They talk about how much you're gonna spend on average for a hotel, to eat out, maybe for activities. They have this thing called the Backpacker Index, which gives you an amount, like if you go backpacking or you have backpacking qualities when you travel, of how much you would spend per day. Just giving you a good idea of how much spending money you're going to need as you travel. Number 5, TripAdvisor. So wherever I go, I type in that place on TripAdvisor and then I go straight to top things to do. And I look at what everybody's doing, what's a must do when you get there, and I pretty much start there for the type of activities that I want to do. Also, it's great for hotel reviews. You will get pictures and all that. You'll get the real about wherever you're going. Number 6, medicines and vaccinations. So with vaccinations, back to travel.state.gov, you can find out the vaccinations that are required to get into that country on that government website. So all the countries I've been to, there hasn't been any vaccinations that have been required. They've just been recommended. But if you are that person who is just against vaccinations, there's some places you won't be going. Also, before I leave, I call my doctor and I say, hey, I'm traveling to such and such. I want to take an antibiotic with me. They typically prescribe me Cipro, and I take that with me in case I either eat something wrong, catch something wrong, and that I have an antibiotic with me, that I don't have to wait till I get back home, or hopefully I get back home. No telling what you can pick up as you travel through like airports and stuff like that. So I always travel with that. And just as a warning, I've never had to take it. It's just good to have it with me. Also, I travel with Golden Seal, which is like my go-to before I take the antibiotic. Like I use this to kind of stay ahead of the game in case I eat something wrong. Something is already there taking care of it for me. I'm not a doctor, so don't be taking these supplements because I said it. I just had a personal experience with it and it worked for me. Feel free to go research Golden Seal all you want. And be careful with it because it is nicknamed nature's antibiotic. So don't be out here, taking it, passing out, having to interfere with some other medication you take and try blaming it on me. Absolutely not. Activated charcoal. This helps if you ate something wrong, and basically, we use charcoal in like the hospitals when people overdose and stuff like that, being able to whatever it does, but it's good for that too. It's also good for your face. Put on your face. Number 7, get you a good carry-on and a backpack. I do not check luggage. 1, because they will lose your stuff when you really need your luggage. And I know you're saying, I got a bunch of stuff to take. It's not enough room. Honey, I traveled for 10 days. I went to Costa Rica on an adventure trip. I went to LA right after for a party trip. Then I went to Seattle right after that for a work trip. So I got party heels, work heels, water shoes, all the clothes to match all those different types of activities. Got all my toiletries, all the hair products, some flat irons, a backpack, and a carry-on. That's it. And how I was able to do that was Packing cubes, get you some. You can get them from a lot of places. I'll leave a link below, but this is like how I was able to do that. There are plenty of tutorials on YouTube which will teach you how to pack compactly or using packing cubes, so I'll let y'all go and search that. Number 8, converter plugs. Hopefully you've researched where you need to go and learn that you need a converter plug. I've traveled a lot in Central America where it's still North America, so the plugs are the same as the US. And I forgot my plugs. And when I got to Germany and I wanted to charge my phone, I'd pay like $20 in the airport for this, which is great because it has like every one of them. Like you see EU, Australia, USA, and then UK, because they got their own plug. But I needed the Europe plug and I had to pay $20 for it. I ain't had no choice. But I don't know if you can buy this one on the interwebs, but I'll leave some links below where you can find a good converter plug like this all in one. Number 9, a theft-proof purse. So my first solo trip was to Spain, and they're supposedly one of the capitals for taking people's stuff. They like to pickpocket. So as you can see, I have this purse where you can like pretty much lock it down. So nobody who's like next or close to me can like open it without me noticing it. Also, thieves have been known to just come up on you and just slice your little leather bag and run off with it. So you can't slice through this. So this is a really good bag. They have different varieties. And then it also has RFID blocker inside. My passport holder also has that RFID blocker, which is good. I mean, we need those here, let alone somewhere else, but definitely want to have some type of RFID blocker on wherever your cards are. Number 10, get you some of these little TSA bottles, because this is going to help you get in and out of security. This is also how I travel with my little carry-on, but as you can see at the bottom, I don't know if you can see that. Well, anyway, it says 3.4 ounces, which is the limit, 100 milliliters, because the United States refuses to convert. But I have a bunch of these on deck, and I have different colors, different types to carry all of my products. And so I don't have to check a bag or have to throw away my toiletries while I'm in security. 11, contact your banks. And you can do this online now, but some still require you to call them. But basically you tell them, I'm going to this country for this amount of time, so they don't think someone has stolen your card. And for me, as soon as I land, I'm using my debit card to go to the ATM and get money that way, because pro tip, the ATMs have the best conversion rates. So I never take out money before I leave if I can use the ATM when I get there. So that's what I do, and I don't want my bank to cut off my card because I need my funds. So I do that for all my cards. And also get you a card that doesn't charge you the fees when you're the international fee when you make transactions, because I take out cash but I use my card as much as I can, and I have cards that won't charge me like $1 here, $2 here, 30 cents here on top of each transaction that I make. 12, contact your cell phone provider. So I have 2 phones. I always have a work phone and a personal phone. So I have Verizon and I have T-Mobile. T-Mobile has a really good international plan, so I have that. And I typically shut off my Verizon plan because it's a little more than what I want to pay in some countries. Like Mexico is $2 a day. I can handle that. But once you start getting into Europe and Asia, it'd be like $5, $10 a day. And you'd be like, no girl, I'll catch y'all on the Wi-Fi. So I shut my Verizon off. AT&T, last time I checked, has horrible international plans, or not horrible, expensive, because I ain't got it. And that's why I have T-Mobile as my work cell. And I think Sprint might have decent plans as well, especially since T-Mobile just bought them out. But call them or go online and see what the charges are going to be, or to let them know, hey, I'm going here, so you can get the best deal, and you won't have to come home to a $300-400 bill. 13, download maps.me. So when I went to Cuba, I didn't think my cell phone would work because the services with American providers was known to not work well. So I just assumed I wasn't going to have any type of service. And what I did was I downloaded maps.me, then downloaded the map of Cuba, or Havana specifically, and I had the street map there. And you can also input or save places. So if you know, hey, my hotel's here, hey, this excursion is over here, this tour is over here, this museum is over there, you can put it in the app ahead of time. So once you get there, it's kind of easy to navigate, and it works offline. So that's why it's perfect, because Google Maps needs data. Maps.me don't. 14, download Google Translate. Me no habla español. And that's the only language I know how to say that I don't speak Spanish. And I might not even have said that right, but you get what I'm saying. So my first solo trip, I had a long layover in Turkey. I was in Istanbul. And I needed some water. I know how to say it in Spanish is agua. Look, that was the only foreign language my school offered. So I'm in the hotel little cafe, and I'm like, water, agua. I'm trying to play charades, like, and she like, girl, I don't know. Pulled out the app, Google Translate, put water, you know, had it translated to Turkish, and she looked at it and she was like, oh girl, here you go. So it's key to communicating, because even though a lot of people know English, sometimes you may be in situations where the other person doesn't know English, and Google Translate is clutch. So download it, and then download the language of the national language of the destination that you're going to. 15, Uber. Now, I know we kind of cancel Uber, and we've been doing Lyft and all this and that, but I don't think Lyft is out here in these international streets like Uber. I've used Uber all over Europe and Asia. And I don't know about y'all, I'm a black woman and I travel solo. If anything happened, at least Uber can tell you the last place I was and who I was in the car with. Also, I don't have to negotiate with anyone. I ain't outside trying to, negotiate with somebody who don't even speak English or is trying to hustle me. So it was key for that. Then they pull up, right, you ain't got to schedule it. They pull up right there. You ain't got to worry about conversion. They do it all for you. So clutch. Download Uber. I'll leave a referral code if you're the last person on earth who still don't have Uber, but definitely make sure that you take that with you abroad. My shirt today says Black and Abroad, which is a travel movement. On the internet, you can go to blackandabroad.com and you can find the shirts, but also you can find more travel content from individuals who look like me, who are traveling the world. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Also share, again, with others that you know are traveling soon. I will leave details in the description about everything that we talked about today. Also, check out TamikaCage.com for more information about my travels. And let me know down in the comments, what are the musts that you must do before you travel anywhere. Talk to you guys later. Bye.